I never thought I'd be sitting in a dimly lit office at 3 a.m., surrounded by financial records that would tear my family apart. But when you discover your own brother has been systematically destroying everything your grandfather built, normal business hours don't apply. My name is Michelle Chen, and this is the story of how I uncovered the largest fraud in my family's history, and how being underestimated turned out to be my greatest advantage. Chen Manufacturing had been more than just a company for 3 generations. Grandfather started it in his garage in 1993, building specialized industrial equipment with nothing but determination and raw talent. By the time my father took over in 2010, we were a respected name in precision manufacturing, with clients across Asia and North America. I grew up in the factory, spending weekends watching the huge machines shape metal into impossibly precise components. While my brother Marcus attended elite business schools and networked at expensive clubs, I was learning every aspect of our operation from the ground up. The workers taught me everything, from reading engineering drawings to understanding the subtle sounds that meant a machine needed maintenance. "You have good hands, Miss Michelle," old Mr. Zhang would say as he showed me how to calibrate the equipment. "You understand the soul of the machines." But understanding machines was one thing. Understanding family, that was far more complicated. I still remember the day Marcus returned from his MBA program, full of grand ideas about modernization and strategic pivots. Father was instantly captivated. Marcus had all the right buzzwords, all the polished presentations. I was just the quiet daughter who preferred the company of machines to boardroom politics. "Michelle," Marcus would say, his voice dripping with condescension, "you need to think bigger. This hands-on approach is quaint, but it's not how modern businesses operate." What Marcus never understood was that I was thinking bigger. I just wasn't talking about it. While he was making flashy presentations about theoretical efficiency improvements, I was quietly developing new manufacturing processes that would cut our production time in half. While he was entertaining clients at expensive restaurants, I was building relationships with our workers and suppliers that would prove invaluable. But in family businesses, perception often matters more than reality. And in my family's eyes, I was the reliable but unambitious one, the safe pair of hands who could keep things running but never really lead. The problem started small. First, it was just a few delayed payments to suppliers, nothing unusual in manufacturing. Then equipment maintenance started getting postponed. Cost optimization, Marcus called it. I noticed our best workers starting to leave, replaced by cheaper, less experienced staff. "It's just market dynamics," Marcus would explain in board meetings, throwing around MBA jargon while Father nodded approvingly. "We need to streamline operations." But I knew better. You can't fool someone who knows every inch of a factory floor, who can read the health of a business in the hum of its machines and the morale of its workers. Something was very wrong with our numbers. I started staying late, going through financial records line by line. Marcus had implemented a new streamlined accounting system that he claimed would modernize our operations. But the more I dug, the more inconsistencies I found. Money was moving in strange patterns, flowing through a maze of subsidiaries and contractor payments that made no sense for a company our size. I brought my concerns to Father, but Marcus had already poisoned that well. "Michelle is stuck in the old ways," he'd say, shaking his head sadly. "She doesn't understand modern business practices." Father would pat my hand patronizingly. "Focus on what you're good at, dear. Leave the big picture to your brother." The final straw came at the company's 30th anniversary celebration. Marcus had arranged a lavish party, inviting all our major clients and industry partners. The entire factory had been transformed, with elegant decorations hiding the practical industrial equipment I loved. It was all for show, just like everything else Marcus did. Father gave a speech about family legacy and innovation, praising Marcus's visionary leadership. Then Marcus took the stage, his custom suit gleaming under the spotlights. "As we move into the future," he announced, "we need to be willing to cut dead weight. Some people," he paused, looking directly at me, "are too attached to the past. It's time to make some changes." The audience applauded, not understanding the threat beneath his words. But I understood perfectly. Marcus was making his move to push me out completely. What my brother didn't know was that I'd been preparing for this moment. For months, I'd been quietly documenting everything, building a detailed picture of exactly where our money was really going. I cultivated relationships with key suppliers and clients who had their own concerns about our recent modernization. Most importantly, I'd arranged for an independent forensic audit, scheduled to begin the very next morning. Marcus's new accounting system was about to receive the scrutiny it deserved. As I sat in my office that night, organizing the last of my evidence, I thought about grandfather. He built this company with his hands and his integrity, creating something that supported hundreds of families. I wouldn't let Marcus destroy that legacy. Tomorrow would change everything. The auditors would arrive at 9 a.m. sharp, and by the end of the week, the truth would be impossible to ignore. Marcus thought he was so clever with his complex financial schemes, but he'd forgotten the most important lesson grandfather ever taught us. In manufacturing, as in life, precision matters. Every number must add up. Every process must stand up to inspection. I closed my laptop and looked out over the darkened factory floor. The machines stood silent, waiting for the morning shift. Soon they would roar back to life, their rhythm a testament to decades of honest work and real value creation. That was the true soul of Chen Manufacturing, not Marcus's flashy presentations and empty promises. The truth was hidden in plain sight, in the numbers Marcus thought no one would bother to check, and the details he considered beneath him. Tomorrow, those details would tell their story. I gathered my things, taking one last look at the family photos on my wall. Father Marcus and me at the factory opening in Shanghai. Grandfather teaching me how to read engineering drawings. Mother, before we lost her, reminding us that family was everything. Sometimes she used to say, love means being strong enough to tell hard truths. Tomorrow would test that wisdom. Tomorrow would change everything. As I walked to my car, the security guard nodded respectfully. Working late again, Miss Michelle? Just preparing for tomorrow, Mr. Liu, I replied. I think it's going to be an interesting day. He smiled knowingly. The workers always knew more than management thought they did. They'd seen the changes, felt the tension building. They knew something had to give. Driving home through the quiet streets, I felt strangely calm. The evidence was solid, the trap was set, and for once, being underestimated would work in my favor. Marcus never thought I'd look beyond the surface of his schemes. Father never believed I could see the bigger picture. Tomorrow they'd learn just how wrong they'd been. The forensic auditors arrived precisely at 9 a.m., their presence sending ripples through the office. I watched from my workspace as Marcus's confident smile flickered when he saw them walking in with their briefcases and laptops. He hadn't expected this, not from his quiet, accommodating sister. What's the meaning of this? He demanded, bursting into my office. Who authorized a forensic audit? I looked up calmly from my computer. The board did, Marcus. Don't you remember? You're the one who gave them enhanced oversight powers last year when you restructured the governance model. His face darkened as he realized his own modernization initiatives had created the very mechanism I was using against him. This is unnecessary, he snapped. Our books are perfectly in order. Then you have nothing to worry about, I replied, turning back to my work. The audit team set up in the conference room, methodically going through years of financial records. I had already provided them with a detailed roadmap of what to look for. The suspicious contracts, the inflated invoices, the maze of shell companies that Marcus had created. Father appeared around noon, his face tight with concern. Michelle, what are you doing? This will damage our reputation with clients. No, Father, I said quietly. What's damaging our reputation is the fact that we've delayed payments to suppliers for months while millions disappeared into consulting fees and offshore accounts. He started to protest, but just then one of the auditors knocked on my door. Ms. Chen, we need to discuss some irregularities we found in the international subsidiary accounts. Father's face paled. For the first time, I saw a flicker of doubt in his eyes. The next few days were a blur of revelations. The auditors uncovered exactly what I had suspected, and more. Marcus had been systematically siphoning money from the company through a complex network of fake consultancy contracts and shell companies. Millions had vanished into private accounts while our loyal workers and suppliers went unpaid. But the true genius of his scheme, and its fatal flaw, lay in the details. Marcus had used his modernization initiative to create a maze of digital transactions and automated payments, thinking the complexity would hide his tracks. What he didn't realize was that I understood both the old and new systems intimately. I could trace every genuine manufacturing expense, every real supplier relationship, and identify exactly where the money should have gone. The breakthrough came on Thursday morning. One of the auditors, Ms. Wong, called me into the conference room. The walls were covered with flowcharts and financial diagrams. "Ms. Chen, look at this," she said, pointing to a complex web of transactions. "These equipment purchases, they're all routed through a company called Global Tech Solutions." I nodded. "That's one of our main equipment suppliers. At least that's what Marcus told the board." She smiled grimly. "Global Tech Solutions was registered 6 months after your brother joined the company. Its director is a former classmate of his from business school. They've been charging us triple the market rate for equipment when they delivered anything at all." The evidence was damning. Over $50 million had been diverted through fake suppliers and consultancy contracts. Another $30 million had been lost in failed international ventures that existed only on paper, all while our real factory, the heart of our business, struggled with outdated equipment and unpaid bills. I was preparing to present the findings to the board when Marcus made his final play. He called an emergency staff meeting, all employees required to attend. Standing on the same stage where he threatened me at the anniversary party, he painted a picture of a sister's betrayal. How I was stuck in the past, unable to accept modern business methods. How my baseless accusations were threatening everyone's jobs. "Michelle doesn't understand global business," he declared. "She's trying to drag us back to the dark ages of manual processes and outdated methods." Then he played his trump card. "I move for an immediate vote of the board to remove Michelle Chen from her position and all involvement in Chen Manufacturing." The room erupted in murmurs. Marcus smiled triumphantly, certain he'd outmaneuvered me one final time. That's when old Mr. Zhang stood up. In his 30 years at Chen Manufacturing, I'd never heard him speak in a company meeting. "Mr. Marcus," he said, his voice carrying clearly across the room, "you speak of modern business. Let me tell you what modern business I have seen. I have seen good workers fired so you could hire your friends' companies at triple the price. I have seen machines break down because maintenance money disappeared into consulting fees. I have seen suppliers who worked with us for 20 years pushed into bankruptcy because you delayed their payments." One by one, other workers stood up. Each had a story. Each had seen a piece of Marcus's scheme from the factory floor. They hadn't had access to the financial records to prove it, but they had seen the reality behind his glossy presentations. Marcus's face turned red. "This is ridiculous. Father, are you going to let them talk to me like this?" But Father wasn't looking at Marcus anymore. He was looking at the latest audit report I just handed him. His hands trembled as he read. "The Singapore subsidiary," he whispered. "The one you said was bringing in millions. It doesn't exist." "None of them exist," I said quietly. "Check your phone, Father. The police have just frozen the accounts Marcus created in the Cayman Islands. All 57 of them." The next few hours passed in a blur of police statements and legal documents. Marcus was escorted out by security, shouting about conspiracies and betrayal. Father sat in his office, aging years as he read through the full audit report. Late that night, after the police had gone and the workers had left, he finally came to see me. "I should have listened," he said simply. "When did you first know?" I showed him the spreadsheet I'd been building for months, tracking every discrepancy, every suspicious transaction. I knew something was wrong the day Marcus said we couldn't afford to repair the main production line but spent $2 million on digital transformation consultants. Father nodded slowly. "Your grandfather, he would have known too. He always said the real business happens on the factory floor, not in PowerPoint presentations." The rebuilding process wasn't easy. Some clients had to be won back. Suppliers needed reassurance, but the workers stayed, helping us restore Chen Manufacturing to what it should be, a place where quality work and honest dealings matter more than flashy schemes. We modernized too, but properly this time. New equipment, better processes, real digital improvements that made our work more efficient. Every change was transparent, every investment focused on creating real value. Marcus went to prison for fraud. Father stepped down, finally admitting it was time for new leadership. The board unanimously appointed me as CEO. My first act was to rehire every worker who'd been let go during Marcus's optimization program. My second was to establish a profit-sharing scheme that ensured everyone who helped build our success would share in it. These days, when I walk through the factory floor, I still stop to check the machines, to chat with the workers, to understand what's really happening in our business. Some call it old-fashioned. I call it knowing your business from the ground up. Last week, we had another company celebration, our first profitable quarter since Marcus's arrest. It was a simple affair held right on the factory floor. No fancy decorations, no elaborate speeches, just honest work and real achievements being recognized. As I looked around at the faces of people who had stood by us, who had helped rebuild our family's legacy the right way, I remembered something grandfather used to say. In manufacturing, you can't hide the truth. Every piece either fits or it doesn't. Every measurement is either accurate or it's not. Numbers don't lie, people do. Marcus never understood that. He thought complexity could hide dishonesty, that flash could replace substance. He forgot that real business, like real manufacturing, is built on precision, integrity, and attention to detail. The machines are running at full capacity now, their rhythm strong and steady. Our order books are full, our suppliers paid on time, our workers proud of what they do. That's what success really sounds like, not in boardroom boasts or complicated schemes, but in the honest hum of machines doing good work. Sometimes I think about that anniversary party, about Marcus calling me dead weight. He never understood that knowing every detail, every process, every person in a business isn't a weakness, it's the greatest strength a leader can have. The truth was always there, hidden in plain sight in the numbers he thought no one would check, in the details he considered beneath him. In the end, it wasn't complex financial investigations that brought him down. It was the simple reality that in business, as in life, the details always matter. As for me, I'm exactly where I should be, leading our company the way grandfather taught us. With honest work, real value, and the understanding that true success comes from building something that helps everyone grow stronger together. The machines keep humming, the workers keep innovating, and Chan Manufacturing keeps growing. The right way, this time. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone else's dreams. It's about building something better from the ruins they left behind. That's the real lesson in all of this. Success isn't about who can talk the loudest or scheme the most cleverly. It's about who can build something real, something that lasts. Something that makes everyone involved proud to be part of it. And that's a lesson worth every difficult moment it took to learn it.